Okay, and here it is. The 4Bs back once again. This is episode number 44 or 43?
43.
43. Wow, time is going on by. So myself, Sir Neverlook, Mr. All In, Dr. Evil 10%, and she was here, but she was never here. Mrs. No Show. She's even quiet in our own group these days. She's just disappearing like the invisible woman that she is.
She'll come back at all-time highs. They always do.
They always do indeed. That's the one. So how's the week looking?
Man, it's been a bit of an up and down week, I think. But I wanted to start it with some personal news because I know all us guys, we chat in our groups, and I'm buying a house, and obviously I've had to relinquish some of my Bitcoin to do so. It has killed me to do it, but why do we buy Bitcoin? We buy it to create self-sovereignty, to create lives for our families. So that's why I'm doing it. I'm not doing it to buy a Lambo. I fully intend on buying this home and then remortgaging it and then buying Bitcoin with the money that I can get from that loan. At the moment, beautiful. I couldn't get a mortgage based on my assets. They just go, the fuck's this? But I've encountered yet another problem literally today, and it set me off into a freaking eruption of a volcano, right? So
I love it.
I've been doing my proof of funds for the property. They went, okay, that's fine. They got a little column for investments. I might have filled in their little form. Here's my buys, here's my sells, there's the profit. That's the profit I'm using for the house.
So who's this for? Is this from a solicitor?
This is from the solicitor, yeah.
So this is basically part of their anti-money laundering process, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
They reply. These little admin bitches that are working for me just to buy the house. I could fucking do this myself, the little pricks. But I've given them a little bit of my money to work for me. They were employed by me. They had the nerve to reply to me going, we don't accept crypto as a source of funds. However, in this instance, we will look at it and go, provided you provide us all this additional information, as in all my trades ever. They want my tax returns. And they want to charge me £500 extra to go through all this. So just bear in mind, right? The first email and the first set of phone calls I had with these people, they're like, oh, you're a high net worth individual, going to give you the VIP service, I fill in their first set of forms, come back. They essentially are treating me now like a criminal. I've gone from VIP to criminal just because I have Bitcoin on my...
Have you paid them anything?
Unfortunately, yes. I've paid
them... I tell them to fuck off. You knew your source of funds initially.
Oh man, you want to see the 3 emails that I wrote and then deleted? These guys got it. I was almost like, in the future, Bitcoiners are going to be ruling the world. You're going to work for us. You do not know how many Bitcoiners. I'm going to destroy your company on Twitter. You are never going to get work again. Everyone's going to be buying property with Bitcoin. No one's going to come to you, you fucking fiat pricks.
And you'll be cleaning the decks of the people's boats, clean the decks of my boat.
Exactly.
How did you refrain from pressing send?
Oh man. Well, in the end, I did. But I took out all the emotion. Just went, look. I gave him out of the 4 bits of information they wanted. I gave him 2. And went, here's those 2, because to be fair, like there was a little bit I'd missed out. So I'm like, there you go. There's the 2. Everything else, all my other trades, go fuck yourself. My tax returns, go fuck yourself. Like there's some tax to be paid on this Bitcoin that I've sold. Not yet though, because I sold it now. So it's not due till January 2023.
It's also none of your business.
Exactly. They just think I'm some doggy coin crypto trader who's been in and out of shit coins their whole life. I've got tax bills up to my ears. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, how fucking dare you? Like, I have Bitcoin on my proof of funds, not doggy coins. So treat me with some respect. We're Bitcoiners here, not shitcoiners.
It shouldn't even matter to them though.
Yeah, in terms of... as long as you say where you got the funds from and you got some proof that the funds did come from, then it's just like, well, if they deem you suspicious, they may raise a SAR. And that's so trying to charge you £500 more That's just them going, we can play him for a fool.
They got both barrels on that one. They were just, I was like, I gave them the other bit of information.
Have they come back?
No. No, I think they're stewing on it. I sent it about 2 p.m. today, and I was waiting for the reply. I basically went, here's your 2 bits of information. You're not getting the other 2 because it's none of your business. I am not paying anything extra.
Good.
You said
definitely don't pay anything extra.
I'm not paying a penny more. Like this is they say they're used to dealing with high net worth individuals, right? All this is like buying stocks or property. You buy it for one price, you sell it for another, there's profit in the middle. I did that with Bitcoin. It is completely the same. Yeah. I've detailed it exactly the same. So do not tell me this is any more complex. Don't piss on my head and tell me it's raining. It's not my fault. You're a fucking boomer. Get up with the times and read the fucking document I sent you. And
while you're at it, read the Bitcoin standard so you're not left in a hovel.
Yeah, my last line pretty much was, I want this resolved ASAP. If not, I'll be seeking further advice. It's just, you're done. Like, I can write off a couple of £100 with you guys. I am fucking done with you pricks. Like, you're done. Like, you're going to lose the majority of the money because you're going to try and charge me another 500. Fuck off. Like, this is, but the thing is, like, the main reason I raise it, as much as I just enjoyed ranting just then, that was fun. It's also just to go, Bitcoin is still new. And when we try and even, like, obviously I would just prefer just to buy the property with Bitcoin. Didn't even entertain that. It's like, of course they're not going to accept Bitcoin. They're going to think I'm an absolute nutcase and just probably not sell it to me. So I'm like, yeah, you can have whatever fucking currency you want. You want pounds, fine, I'll get you pounds. But even just selling the Bitcoin for the pounds and then trying to give it to them, it's not even the solicitor that is getting the money. Like, they're just passing it fucking on for me and filling in a contract. But they're saying they don't accept the funds. Like, I'm not even giving the funds to you. Like, who are you to say you're not going to accept?
Just say if you suggest there's a suspicion, then I suggest you raise a SAR. If you do not believe there's a suspicion, you are merely trying to con me out of money.
Yeah, I like that. I missed that bit out today. I'll be using that if they come back.
Because it's a squeeze. You know, that is a squeeze. Like, we had it with our builder who's just like, it costs me more. And it's just like, ooh. We said, we're not paying him more. We didn't agree for that. Then we went into his contract, his schedule of delivery, went clause 4. It says here, you are not allowed to charge us anymore.
I've been looking back through their terms and conditions as well, and then pulling them up on things and causing them a little bit of aggro and hard work. You know, if you're really struggling, I can point you in the direction of some solicitors as well. So it's just so annoying. But I'm laughing as well because I had something similar, but on a much smaller scale. But I just simply said I used Monzo Bank. Like, the woman was just like, well, I don't know if we can accept anything that comes from there because Barclays is my main one, but I just held all my money for property in there. And I was just like, where have you been? You know, like, at the time they had around about 3 million customers. I think they're up to like 5 million now, and obviously expanded into the US.
Where are they regulated?
In the UK.
Yeah, so they're actually UK. They're not like Latvia.
No. So for me to have issues with me just simply holding my money in a bank, and then them say that, like, just because she hadn't heard of them because they weren't a familiar name, Bitcoin's just another level that they're just not ready for.
It just shows, like, the entire, like, fiat system, the whole financial world, the gatekeepers are boomers. And they just, unless you're playing their game, they just start putting up all the blockers. It's just fucking bizarre.
It'd be interesting, you know, you put it 5 years' time, some more boomers have died, and you end up with more people wanting to go certain directions. But there's also the current world events, which are very much pushing everyone down a Bitcoin route. You know, one story which we'll talk about. So, you know, I think we've said numerous times the next 5 years is going to be incredibly interesting. And whilst everyone starts at the moment telling us that Bitcoin's built on foundations of sand, well, what are we going to find out within 5 years' time when things keep on inflating away because the drug addiction of the Fed is too much?
Yeah, 100%. But I think we don't give ourselves enough credit as well in the fact that we've all heavily researched what's behind the fiat system, and that isn't common knowledge to the common man on the street as well.
It's things like you put your money into a bank and they lend, what do they call it? Fractional reserves. They lend it out about 7 times to the value, which is
it's 9. Being lenient.
9
so if
times.
You've got 100
so
in,
pretty
it's
much
90's out. Yeah.
So they have created 8 sets of fake money off the back of your savings in your accounts.
Yeah. And that's off the back of a lot of that money was fake in the first place. They printed out of thin air. So they print out of thin air, give a little bit of it to you, then loan it out 9 times.
But it's like, you know, that £1 you've got in your bank account is now £9 in lendings. Correct. And that is what is phenomenal. If you think that Bitcoin is a load of hocus pocus, just think about the basics around fiat, and that is just one snippet.
Yeah. Before you get to money printing, yeah. But I think it's just like we all just listed there. Like we've all got an example of where being in this new, even just in fintech, but never mind Bitcoin, when you actually try and get out of the Bitcoin world and actually start buying real life assets in, you know, the fiat world, there's so much resistance and you just have to fight through it. And I'm educating these guys. I am not going to try and orange pill these guys at all. I'm just going to freaking give them both barrels, probably sack them in the end and move on to someone else. But that's just because they fucking triggered me this morning when I was just not in the mood.
Listen to you with your woke words.
Yeah,
they did. I don't want to be triggered. I take it as a massive weakness if I get triggered by anything. But these guys triggered me as fuck this morning when they literally. I read the email. I'm like, I am basically a criminal according to this. They have gone from treating me like a VIP to a criminal because I could put Bitcoin on my proof of funds. How fucking dare they?
Did you talk about that to them in the first case when they signed you up?
No, weirdly, it didn't even come up. But of course, but why would it, right? I don't really want to disclose any of that anyway. It's none of their business.
No.
And then when it comes in the proof of funds thing, I'm like, okay, fine. Here's my proof of funds. I didn't think you're here to do the contract with the vendor. Like the proof of funds thing is like I can do that on the side if you want. Like it's no, you have to be part of it. And it's just weird how they had the nerve to go, we don't accept that money. I'm like, you don't own the house, dickhead. Those guys do. And I'm pretty sure those guys accept pounds. So,
and also if you'd written, I don't know, stock trades, or you'd written, I don't know, lottery win or whatever, they probably wouldn't even questioned it.
No, they had all the other categories. They had inheritance, they had stocks, they had everything there was normal. And I just put it in the stocks one and went, oh, it's not stocks technically because you haven't got a Bitcoin category. So here's some Bitcoin. Same thing though.
You flexed on them too hard. You flexed on them too hard by just using the B word. If you'd have kept it with stocks and shares, they would have been okay with it.
Well, unfortunately, I'd have loved to have that much stocks and shares to be able to buy a property. But I had to be honest, right? It's just one of them where I know this is a legal document. I can't rely on it. You know, I need a proper proof of funds. I know this is going to get documented. I know they're now going to send this to the tax office and make sure I pay my capital gains on it. I know this is how the game works. This isn't about money laundering. It's not about stopping terrorist financing. I know full well all it means is they're going to be waiting for my tax return next January. And if I don't pay the right amount, they're going to come arrest me. I know how this works, but I think I've done that.
I think the key thing is, though, that you'll be moving those funds into their account. So they hold it for a while and then they pass it over to the buyer's account. Yeah. And so they want to protect themselves that they've not handled stolen goods.
Dirty money, yeah.
But if they did a source of funds off a set of stock trades, what's the difference?
Yeah, exactly. No difference. It's
just so they're just trying to use something just to milk you for a little bit more money.
Yeah, I think they are genuinely scared. It's just, but yeah, like where did you get the money from for your stock?
Just go. I want to speak to Sandra and Neil or whoever the hell they are who you speak to. Put me on loudspeaker. Sort it out, or you won't. I won't even give you a job. Empty my bins. Bitcoin standard.
Oh man, I had so many like fun conversations with myself in my head of how I would just dunk on these pricks, but I'm like, they've got a little bit of my money. I won't completely destroy my relationship right now, but if they don't come back favorable with like, oh yeah, we're going to waive the fee and carry on, then they're getting both barrels completely. I'm going to burn it and I'm going to move on. But who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's using Bitcoin in the real world, man, for serious amounts of money. Once you get over 10K, this is the world we live in. Everything has to be reported. No one wants to handle the money. They're all scared. All they've done, right? Their whole view of Bitcoin will be it's crypto, it's a scam, it's money laundering, it's Silk Road. This guy might be a scammer. We're going to be implicated.
You're boiling the oceans. You're part of the KKK.
He's probably a racist. We don't want to deal with him anymore.
Transphobic.
Yeah, all this stuff. Like literally, you get painted. Like I said, like the tone of the email went from Mr. VIP to Mr. Scammer. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, I'm just a Bitcoiner. Leave me the fuck alone.
I can't wait actually, because as you know, I put Bitcoin on the balance sheet for the property company, and everything went through absolutely fine. So it gets moved from one account to another account and then into Bitpanda, all set up nicely. And yeah, eventually, let's see if that money grows, and then I'll then go to sell it. They'll ask, where did that money come from? And then I'll have the trail. Whew, I'll be waiting for that convo.
It's weird because it will just be, I'm sure everyone's going to get the same thing.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I suppose we just got to play their game now.
That's the one. That is the one. So where should we start? This is week 43. And
we start at the top with Russia.
Let's do it. It's interesting times in Russia, right? You might have heard about it.
Yeah. We've had Russia on for 3 weeks on the trot now, and Max Kaiser, who was obviously a huge Bitcoin OG since I don't know 2012, 2013. He's very reliable.
$1, right?
Yeah, he's buying Bitcoin at $1 exactly. Yeah, pretty much just as it got a price, Max was buying shit tons of this thing, and an ex-London stockbroker, knows his economics, saw straight away Bitcoin is better money, got in on the ground floor. Fair play to him. But he's tweeted out, and Max normally, he's not a bullshitter. Like, he loves to hype stuff up, but he won't bullshit and he won't lie. And his tweet says, like, the Kremlin is mining Bitcoin and will announce it's adding Bitcoin to its strategic reserves along with gold. So this goes along with Bitcoin, or obviously Russia adding Bitcoin as a currency last week. Max seems to be breaking that they're also mining Bitcoin, and they're going to buy a shit ton and add it to their reserves along with gold, which, why'd you do that? It's a hedge against inflation. This is massive. This isn't El Salvador now. This is Russia. They wouldn't buy 30 million, 100 million. They're going to be buying billions and billions of Bitcoin. And this is, how we started pretty much, well, I think probably halfway through last year, which is we haven't got consumer FOMO or company FOMO. This is country FOMO. And Russia could start that. Russia's the type of country that once Russia buys like 10 billion or 100 billion of Bitcoin, holy shit, every country's going to want some. They want Russia to get ahead.
Yeah, we're going to get the Central America. We're going to get the complete set, aren't we, straight away?
Because we're maybe with a bit of Africa as well mixed in. Who knows?
We've had El Salvador, and we've got, and I think it's important to talk about the use cases of what it's used for in these various countries. For Russia, you mentioned hedge against inflation, also potentially a hedge against a massive market crash, which is inevitable with the amount of printing going on. El Salvador, you've got the hedge against inflation, but you've also got the transfer of funds cross-border. So Western Union, what is it? Out of every $100 which is transferred, is it $40 is in fees?
Yeah, it's high, like 25 to 40%. It's high. It's a big.
So it's ridiculous. So you think in these poorer countries, Africa, which you mentioned, and Middle America, you've got lightning fee, which is what, pennies for every $100.
Yeah,
and when you got transaction fees, so the transactions fees for about $100. I know Coinbase Pro is, I want to say, about 40 pence or something like that.
Think so.
So put that on a normal Coinbase, £2. I don't know.
Yeah. If you use Strike, it's $0.
You're paying £2 and 1 pence to transfer $100 instead of 40. So for this money transfer, which Western Union and various other companies have built their businesses on, you're literally taken out by using Bitcoin. Oh, what about the fees? Well, vary your fees, £2 and a penny. The future is orange.
So there's a couple of things here as well, because we can't forget that the situation between the Ukraine and Russia is still ongoing. Now, earlier on, they said that they had seen of the 130,000 Russian troops that 10,000 had withdrawn. But I feel like Russia is ready to dig their heels in and obviously stick it out and go the whole hog, because they're confident with Bitcoin in the background that they can do this, because of course wars drain funds. And so with the US already hyperinflating its money over the last 18 months, can they also afford a war?
I don't know. I don't think they're confident in war because they got a bit of Bitcoin behind them. Because the US dollar is still the industry standard or the global standard. So America can print another couple of trillion, arm their forces and go and do whatever the fuck they want. I think in reality, probably what's happening here is when you look on Twitter and stuff in Russia and Ukraine, there's not a lot of news and a lot of talk about this whole war. Whereas in Europe and in America, there's loads. So if anything, I would actually say this could be a war that's being fought in the media. And because Russia have always been a little bit of an outlier and have given the two fingers to America, and it looks like they're getting into Bitcoin, it wouldn't surprise me if they're getting attacked with FUD just as Bitcoin does, because they're getting into Bitcoin and they're being accused of starting these wars and we need to do a World War III against Russia, mainly because they're not playing the game and they're being just fudded, basically. And I don't really buy the war thing. I think it's just a load of noise, personally.
Well, there's a reasoning behind it, which is Ukraine are threatening to join NATO, and Russia don't want NATO lined up against their border. So this is where the pushback's happening. So it is, looking at the other side of a coin rather than just going, oh, it's Russia doing this. They're just saying, you're in talks with Ukraine about joining NATO. That cannot happen. So it's, if it was based upon that, then you've got the theory around Bitcoin, which would be a really interesting one, because it'd say they're a lot deeper than we think they are. That'd be my favorite one personally, because things would just go crazy worldwide for Bitcoin. At that point, it would fly up in value.
Yeah. I think the biggest problem is for me, like we've got numerous stories on it, like tonight, and obviously we discuss them. So much of the world news is wrong, and provably wrong, right? So on this one, I don't really know, like whether like all this Russia Ukraine stuff, I have no fucking clue like what's going on. But all I know is that the same people that have reported other world news, I have categorically caught them in lies. So when they then report this, I just don't know. It's like the boy that cried wolf. I'm like, I don't know. You cry wolf every fucking day. And I've gone and had a look 10 times and there was no wolf. So this time you're going, look, there's definitely a wolf now. And I'm like, I don't even check. So I just pretty much switch off from it and go, all I know is Russia seems to be buying some Bitcoin. So I'm like, look, I don't give a shit what the media says about Russia. If they're buying Bitcoin and they're putting it on their reserves, then who knows? It's just like Turkey did, right? Turkey have been thrown under the bus as far as I'm concerned. Their leader was tyrannical as far as I understood. But then I've started digging into it and realized he's fired the last couple of treasurers. And because inflation keeps getting worse and worse, now he's talking to Bukele, trying to get onto Bitcoin standard. I'm like, maybe that guy ain't so bad. Maybe he was trying to fix it. He was just making mistakes.
Yeah, because you can't do everything. The treasurer, that's your job. My job is to lead the country. The treasurer's job is to, sort the finances out, right?
Yeah. And he hasn't promoted these guys. He's fired them.
Yeah.
If you have a look at America and the UK, every time our head of the banks or our treasurer increases inflation, they get a promotion. It's clearly corrupt all the way through on that one. But in Turkey, they've been fired. And who knows? Who knows? Maybe I've been misled to hate Putin. And maybe he's trying to fix his inflation problem in Russia, and he's going to move to a Bitcoin standard eventually. And suddenly I'm like, well, maybe this is another one of these world truths that at the moment is a very hard pill for me to swallow. And at the moment I'm rejecting it and going, no, Putin is bad. Like, that is what I fundamentally just want to say. And I don't really know why I'm saying it, other than people have told me to say it. Putin bad. And maybe it's another like orange man bad, with Trump. And it was all just he isn't playing the game. And so I'm open.
It's funny you mentioned this as well, because I'm not too sure if you saw the speech by Vladimir Putin, where he was saying, do you think that I want a war? Like, this will end in catastrophe and there will be no winners. And it was funny because he was being very serious, but actually quite humorous at the same time, because I think he was talking about Macron torturing him for 6 hours in terms of, do you think he literally said, do you really think I want this guy torturing me for 6 hours as he's directly talking to the camera? And I actually thought, I need a independent interpreter to understand if he's actually saying that as well, because who's to say that what he's actually said is what they're actually writing with the subtitles?
Yeah, but there you go. But straight away, that breaks the narrative, right? The narrative that I've heard is Putin is bloodthirsty, wants war. Ukraine have disrespected him. Let's go bomb the fuck out of them and teach him a lesson. It's straight away. He's like, I don't want war. Everyone loses in war. And like, oh, there you go. That sounds sensible. He doesn't want to have a war about it. He just wants to have a chat. They've had some disagreement about, I don't know, fucking NATO or whatever. I don't really keep up with this bullshit. But yeah, but all I hear down the official lines is that Putin's a warlord and we need to go beat him up. I'm like,
there has been research and factual evidence that they have rigged elections so that the president or the prime minister, I'm not too sure of what they call them in Ukraine, was essentially a Russian puppet in there as well, and that they also put some sort of like, I don't know what it was, some sort of nerve agent in one of the candidates that aged him as well. That, it didn't look good.
Yeah, I know a country that faked an insurrection and an overthrow of democracy, and then banned their current president off social media, and then faked an election and put a dementia patient in. But and by the way, all I'm going to say is that wasn't Russia. That's all I'm going to say.
And we currently know a country who are forcing some workers to do something which they don't want to their body, freezing their bank accounts, and also threatening them with violence without actually negotiating with them.
Yeah, and he's a love child of the Cuban dictator. But again, we don't know what country that is. We're just going to say that it also is not Russia.
Yeah.
So, like whenever, like whatever story you've got against like a Russia or a China, all you got to do is go, you know what, that is really bad, right? But just zoom out and have a look on your own country and go, oh, it happened here too. Oh, yeah. But guess what? When people get to the top, they start pulling dodgy shit, and they'll do anything to stay there. And then when the guys at the top really want to start fighting, they start throwing stones at each other. And in essence, it's I still think that in reality, I don't think there's any real war against us, China or Russia. I personally think we're all collaborating, and it's a big clown show.
Do you think that Russia and America would fight each other?
No.
It's a bottomless pit of all sorts. Like it just, like you're going, oh, great, but it would be catastrophic. And like you said, they've all got very little areas. You've got Eastern Europe, you've got America and the Western world, and you've got Asia. They're all kind of like the powerhouses in those regions.
I think they're all in the same WhatsApp group, just lolling at each other. Going, look at these morons. They think we're going to go to World War III again. Lol.
Print more some money.
Yeah. How much money did you print this month? And blame it on fucking Russia.
On this? Where do you think China stands on this as this special guest referee?
I don't think they give a shit. I think they're in the WhatsApp group going, when one of you going to tag me in, boys?
Yeah.
I'm meant to be attacking Taiwan. Have you forgotten?
Exactly.
And America meant to be getting involved in that. And now Russia are attacking Ukraine. It's just pathetic. I just think it's just such misdirection. And it's all just, again, if, like we always said, right? It's like they lurch from one disaster and emergency to another, because it always then warrants, we need to print some money to get us through this thing. They've just got us like through COVID. The whole like scam of COVID seems to be falling away. So we predicted they're going to do another disaster. They need a war. They need a pandemic. They need a financial crash. They need something. And then they're going to print a load of money to get us out of that one. And that will then last another couple of years.
They've got a few years, haven't they?
But
they don't have to be on top of each other. Like they can wait a few years in between disasters.
Normally they do wait 10 years on each one. So this will be a slow burner, right? It's going to be but they can't keep us completely calm, because when we're calm, people think clearly, they start rationalizing things, realize the government's like been lying to them, and then they start protesting and overthrowing them. Honk, honk. But they need something. They'll need to like start building a war. So they've gone straight into that. They've transitioned straight into the war.
Another thing as well that I've come to learn, so I think I may have told you that one of the books on the shelves that ready to read is called Daylight Robbery by Dominic Frisby. And after every like war that there's been taxes as well. And so it doesn't happen apparently after natural disasters. So things like the pandemic or tsunamis or 9/11, etc. But every other thing where there's been some sort of catastrophe in the world, they'll form some form of new tax to then hit the people with as well. So it's a good way to keep everybody in check.
And the best form of tax, as we've always said, is the stealth tax, which is inflation.
Correct, exactly.
Yeah, we've had another percent in the UK with national insurance, haven't we?
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, the other one they're doing, I think what they're doing right now is the reason why we're even talking about war is that I think they're testing. It's like almost a control group where they're just going, what resonates best with the people? Is it war? Is it climate change? And they're just like rotating around them. Is it China and Taiwan that gets people going? Or is it Russia and Ukraine? Or is it climate change? And they keep rolling them out like 1 month to the next. They rotate between them. And I literally think they're going, which gets the most likes and comments, the most outrage. And whichever one does, that's the one they go with. And in 5 years' time, that's going to be the one that is all over the front pages, got big death counts on our screens. And anyway, do you want to move on to the Super Bowl in lighter news?
Yeah, much lighter news. So I stayed up for it. It was a really good event. Interesting to watch in terms of both the game and then the halftime show as well. But of course, where all of this draws back to is on Bitcoin. So Drake made 3 big bets, and he did those big bets using our favorite friend, Bitcoin. So bet number 1 was super simple. The LA Rams versus the Cincinnati Bengals, LA Rams to win. Boom. Second one was for his friend Odell Beckham Jr. to score a touchdown. Boom. Smash that. And then the third one was for Odell Beckham to get a range of 62.5 yards on the pitch in terms of from like passing and catching. And oh my God, the level of catching that he actually did when he was on the pitch, because unfortunately halfway through the game he pulled up with an injury, was just spectacular. So I think he managed 52 and not 62.5. So of the 2 out of the 3 bets, he won. But Drake put down 1.2 million in, or I think it may have been 1.2 or 1.3 in Bitcoin using Stake, which is a betting company who allowed him to put it in Bitcoin, and then won just over $250,000 mil back, as well as his original stake.
So, kind of question about this: does Drake publish his bets usually?
No.
So it's basically Stake have paid him and not charged him for the bets.
Do you know what? He's not really like. There's obviously some sports players and also rappers that are out there that bet heavily and obviously share it on social media. But up until this point, no, I don't really think that he's much of a gambler. And also, he's more into basketball. So I think there may have been some payment swapped hands between Drake and Stake.
Yeah. Love Beckel Odell Jr. or however you pronounce it.
Yeah,
she's a Bitcoiner. That's when I first heard of him, and I've watched a bit of him this season.
Yeah,
and he does seem like a really good player as well.
Yeah,
it's one of them. Yeah, I did see the story. I did wonder why he did it in Bitcoin, but then I kind of thought, well, maybe people don't like taking bets this big, and obviously in a kind of decentralized network, then provided maybe you could almost crowdsource as many people as you want to get on the other side of Drake. I don't know, but yeah, fair play. He's I think Drake's come out as a Bitcoiner a little bit. There's been numerous American footballers come out as Bitcoiners, and when I looked at the tweets on this, Odell Beckham Jr. has been going, Bitcoin's the future. He gets paid, I think, is it 50% of his paycheck? I think is in Bitcoin now. So I think they're just doing their bit, aren't they? And I think they knew that by betting this big on Bitcoin on the Super Bowl was going to make news, and fair play, it did. And then he won the bet as well. So fair play, it's made even more news. So yeah.
Stake are also a Canadian betting company, and Drake's obviously from Canada as well. So probably there's that link there as well.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet if Drake literally got paid $1 million just to like promote Stake. He put it on that bet, and then he wins 2.6. That's a good tweet. A tweet for 2.6 million is pretty tasty.
Just doing a quick bit of research. There's only 2 sites in the UK that are licensed to accept Bitcoin, NetBet and EnergyBet, but I certainly see it as the future, because you may know or may not know that like the vending machines and betting machines, that their highest win kind of went to like £2 or something and really just killed betting shops. But I see the fact that you can do super small, minor transactions in Bitcoin as probably the future as well. So you can, there's so much more to be gained in having Bitcoin and betting together.
Yeah, and then the Super Bowl obviously was a big event anyway, wasn't it? We've got another story on it where like the Super Bowl was almost like, I must admit, I've never watched Super Bowl. I think I tuned in one year for like 10 or 20 minutes, didn't get it, switched off. I don't know what.
I like watching the highlights. Like I like watching NFL highlights in general, but I think it's a bit long, bit stop-start. But when you put it on highlights, it's watchable.
Yeah, but all I really hear about is the halftime show. And I think what it's probably most famous for is having the highest cost per second of ad in the world ever. Like every year, the cost of an ad goes up, and it's already at all-time highs. Like it's the ultimate ad. Like if you get an ad in the Super Bowl halftime, that is the most expensive ad you could buy of the year anywhere in the world. And this year, all the crypto exchanges, I'd love to say Bitcoin exchanges, but they're not. They're crypto dominated. It seems to be like Coinbase, FTX. I think Binance was in there. They were just, it's almost like
crypto.com. Yeah.
Crypto.com. They were just halftime.
And it was at the SoFi Stadium as well.
Oh, so it was, who was SoFi?
In LA as well.
What's SoFi though? Is that another exchange?
believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's bizarre, right? And the ads as well. Like I was talking to the missus like when this story came up and like the other day, going, when I joined Bitcoin's marketing was we would print off orange stickers with bees on, and we'd stick them in random places, like on the bus, on desks. When I went to conferences, we'd stick them on walls. So when we left, like other people that came to the conference would see Bitcoin. Like that was Bitcoin's marketing. That we were the marketing team for Bitcoin. And now when we fast forward like 6 or 7 years, we're dominating the Super Bowl halftime show. We have Larry David as one of the key actors. We've got Matt Damon as another actor. They're getting paid millions of pounds. They are paying millions and millions for these ads. And it's just everywhere, right? If you're not into crypto, hopefully Bitcoin, like you're a weirdo now. Like,
yeah,
it's insane how far we've gone in about 5 years. We've gone from little orange stickers, people like me sticking it on places, sticking it on the back of your laptop, to dominating the Super Bowl halftime show, which is the mecca of adverts. And it's insane.
Is it the top?
Oh, fucking can't be the top at 44K. If anything, what I think, if anything, because these ads seem to have really worked, right? Because Coinbase went down. Like Coinbase got so many signups from these ads, it took their website down yet again, and they've massively scaled up since 2017.
What were the biggest winners though? So in cryptocurrencies, like I had a quick scan through some of the popular ones, and none had seemed to really fly up as a result. So I was expecting some decent movement.
Well, what you've got to remember, right? After anything like this, with new signups, you got to go through KYC, you got to go for AML, then you got to get your deposit in, then you got to buy some. So yeah, we actually was a down day yesterday. Today was a nice little pump. So that looks like some people, what I think that would be is people that already had accounts, remembered they had accounts, got money in and brought. All the new accounts, they won't be buying until like another week yet.
If that, you know, we all know how long it took us to get accounts.
Yeah, and imagine being on Super Bowl day. Like you are so far back in that list. You might be a month until you get your Coinbase account. So hopefully all it's done is onboarded millions of more Bitcoiners. I do agree with you though. I don't think all this money will go into Bitcoin. They're going to open up these accounts. And I would imagine Dogecoin, Shiba, and all that bollocks is probably going to pump.
So having a look, so this is Coinbase top movers. You've got Ethereum 6.94. You've got Avalanche 12.78, whatever the fuck that is. Polkadot 7.62. Polygon 10%.
We should ask the infamous question, which we should start putting as a staple question each week. Have you got any free lessons yet?
Here we go. The top movers. Sorry, I forgot this was here. UPI, whatever that is. IOTX, Gala, GRT. I'm guessing these are brand new coins, which is why the percentages are so high. But no, I've not got any fucking new fucking lessons. I've still got Stellar Lumens.
It's because you keep mentioning fucking Shiba on here and they just punish you and you deserve it.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't sell Dink Donk, do they?
If you did, you'd be an ambassador.
I would. I'd be ambassading all over that.
Or be sponsored by Dink Donk.
In that article which you shared from, what is it, NPR, whatever that is, it just seemed like a load of FUD in there. But cryptocurrencies are wildly volatile and can have over 10% swings in price in a single day, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
These moves have attracted blah, 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 blah. So it said that a study done by Grayscale Investments found that more than half of investors who currently own Bitcoin began investing in them just over 12 months ago.
Yeah, they are beaten down. Like it was, wasn't a happy article at all.
So
funny,
we've also
it's literally hilarious though, isn't it? Like we're dominating the Super Bowl now and they're still going, it's risky, guys. It's like, dude, it was risky 8 years ago when we weren't on the Super Bowl. Now we're all over the Super Bowl. Maybe at this point, maybe you go, maybe it's not so bad. Maybe. Yeah. It's well, because where have all these companies made all this money? Like, how are like 4 or 5 different exchanges dropping tens of millions on ads got all their money from? Like, well, it isn't scamming. Like, this is legitimate business usage. It's just legit.
Well, we said some investors believe cryptocurrencies are bound for a similar crash and shakeout like the dot-com companies. And guess who's returned from death?
Oh, who's this? It's not Schiff.
No, he came out of the tomb where they buried him because they thought he was dead. Charlie Munger.
Your favorite guy.
He's told the Sydney Morning Herald, I wish they'd never been invented.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh man, I want to ring up the Sydney Morning Herald and go, I wish Charlie Munger was never born.
I'm going to say, that's not going to happen because he's fucking really old. And he's gone back to his crypt where everyone thinks he's dead again.
Yeah, actually, I'll change it and go, Charlie Munger died 8 years ago. Stop fucking making up quotes. It's just hilarious, isn't it? Like some 95-year-old goes, oh, I wish crypto was never invented. Fuck off, mate.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't like iPods as well.
Yeah. Well, until we invested $1 billion worth of it in Apple 5 years ago, and fuck off, mate.
Yeah. I think it'd be interesting to see if we do get a pump from all of these investments or people signing up.
It's gathering interest a bit more, isn't it? Like, yeah, we've had the dip, and now it's to see whether we're getting a bit of FOMO again. You know, Coinbase are gone. Look at us, we're on the Super Bowl, and then you've had like, oh, what's Putin up to with Bitcoin?
Yeah, they probably need some help apparently in marketing. They just had that QR code just bouncing around for a minute.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point. People just go, what the fuck is this? Pull out your phone, scan it. I mean, it comes up with a blue screen of death and like that noise, and you're just like, beautiful.
Yeah, it's weird though because Coinbase did go down, so maybe like the fact that the QR code didn't work meant people went, you know what, this must be so good, and they just went to Coinbase.com anyway and signed in or signed up, and who knows, it might be the best line of fuck up that they ever did. Because their site went down, like it literally went down with so much traffic going to it, so something happened. And yeah, who knows about the pump. I think it will go in a classic way where I think Bitcoin will get a little pump, shitcoins will get a bigger pump, but then as everyone starts to get washed out because they're new, shitcoins will dump hard, Bitcoin might dump a little bit, then all the people that got dumped on will buy their Bitcoin, and we just carry on. It's almost like every single time we get 10 million new people, basically what it means is we get 1 million extra Bitcoiners and 9 million shitcoiners. They get wrecked, they have to come back in 4 years, and we just keep going. So I'd imagine it'd be the same thing. But yeah, this isn't going to be the start of any massive pump. It's just interesting the fact that now.
Why not? We want 100K.
Well, I think we'll get 100K this year. I don't think that's even like, for me, like a massive pump now from like a Super Bowl. If we were talking about this, like if this kind of thing had happened like 5 years ago or something, or 2 years ago, I'd want a 10x pump from this. Now I'm going to get we're not going to get 10x from this. I might get a 2x. But
yeah, it'd be interesting as well, because don't forget those people that were watching the Super Bowl actually there as well. I imagine are already Bitcoiners, or they are investors, because the average price of a ticket to be there, and there were 100,000 people in the stadium, was $6,500 minimum. So even if you were up in the gods, you were paying 6,500. Like
is that literally the average ticket price is $6,500?
Average ticket, yeah.
Well, up in the gods, it'd be
dollars, yeah.
It'd maybe be like $4,000 or something for a shit seat.
That is
so along with
that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Is that actually on like? Do they sell that as ticket price, or is that like second hand, third hand?
No, that's face value as well. I actually had a call with a customer today who's based in LA, and he said he's not really into football and didn't watch it. Obviously, got caught up a little bit in it being in the city, but yeah, he's just like, I don't get how people afford to do it. And there was some, I say, celebs from the UK that had managed to somehow bag a ticket. And so therefore, I think that there will be a disgusting resale market on that.
Yeah. A little side note to all that Super Bowl talk as well is there's a number of like the whole LA sports commission came out going, you got to wear a mask, you got to be vaccinated to get in. And there's a number of celebrities that were there that had also gone, don't be a jerk, wear a mask and all that stuff. All photographed within the ground, no masks, all drinking, having a good time. So yet again,
yeah,
virtue signaling.
So on a site, the cheapest ticket was $4,000, and the most expensive ticket sold on this site was 33 grand.
Jesus Christ! Like the cheapest being $4,000 is just insane.
There you go. Yeah, that'll bring your average price up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's literally just fiat world gone crazy, right? It's just, that shouldn't be the case. But I kind of get it. Like maybe it is okay. Maybe it's okay.
No, it's not okay.
I think it's transitory. It's transitory. It's not here for forever.
Well, this is just people who've got too much money, and it's just gone into this fake money. Whether like even the average man will go, I want to go to Super Bowl. It's $4,000. I'll justify it to myself. Whereas that $4,000, stack sats, be humble.
Yeah, so true. It's weird because like for that kind of price, right? Obviously, I'm a UFC fan. For the average price, you can be in VIP at the front, not in the nosebleeders at the back. And a UFC event is 15 to 20,000. And if you're in the nosebleeds at the back, that's less than $100 to be up there.
Yeah,
you could, like for $4,500, you'd be at the front. So obviously I'm a fan of that sport, so I just go, yeah, fine. But I understand how it can scale because UFC is still quite niche, whereas American football is just supposedly the biggest sport in the world, but that's what America says.
I was going to say the biggest sport in the world, which only one country plays.
Yeah, it's literally the clues in the name, right? But
yeah.
But anyway, do you want to go on to Elon and then a little bit of cheeky inflation?
I love a bit of Elon. So a regular guest along with what is now Russia as well. So welcome back, Elon, to the pod. Elon says that the US debt has tripled.
So what?
60 trillion.
It's 3 times the size of the entire US economy.
What has to give?
Something has to
but
give.
I kind of but I always come but I always come back to this and I'm like, well, okay, it's 60 trillion. What does that mean in debt? So it's like me going, I owe myself $5,000. Am I in debt to myself for $5,000? Or am I just saying to you, I'm in debt?
It's like, well, the thing is, what this is like, right? It's like you being 100 years old and having your net worth being, say, I don't know, 100 grand, but you owe 300 and going, it's fine.
Yeah, but you owe 300.
Oh, no, actually, sorry. Yeah, 3 times. Yeah, 3 times.
Yeah, but you say that you owe 300 grand to yourself.
Yeah.
I owe 300 grand in Ross dollars.
It makes no sense on a country level, yeah. Because the thing is, like, when you literally move it out of yourself into the country, when they say like this is the US economy, This means there's 340 million people doing work. There's millions of companies doing work. There's all the stock market, all the property, everything, every single piece of that, which the government barely touches most of that, has no fucking interest in it, and does not have nothing to do with it. It's all privately owned. All of that times 3 is what the government have decided to take out as a debt on all of that. But yeah, they owe it to themselves. And
yes, so it's not a real debt. It's just a nonsense thing saying you're in debt because you're in debt to who? Like I run my house on Ross dollars.
Yeah.
I pay like my kids to do chores on Ross dollars. When I keep on writing new ones, I'm going to buy your toy for $5 Ross dollars. And it's just like, we end up with this false economy. And it's just like, I keep on writing more dollars every night. And it's just like, but I'm in debt to my desk where I wrote my dollars for 500 Ross dollars.
I think Ross dollars could catch up.
where can I get some Ross dollars?
Yeah.
I've just literally invented a new crypto.
How much for BJ? Could you print me some dollars?
But it is nonsense.
Pay me off in Ross dollars, like my name's Prince Andrew.
But back to a serious point.
He's got a pretty mouth.
We've lost it. I can't bring it back.
Oh, go on. I'll stop.
But it is, like the whole thing about national debt is like who you're in debt to: yourself, your bank, which you own, which is part of the company, which is like me saying that I write dollars to pay my kids on my desk and therefore I own my desk. It is absolute nonsense. And it's a fact that it's, when people say Bitcoin isn't backed by anything, what is the US dollar backed by? So just printing out of thin air, and this is the whole flaw of fiat. So it's not controlled, it's not restricted, it's not earned, it's artificially made.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Get me a bag of Ross dollars. I'll make it rain on you as you get naked and stripped for the camera.
But it's nice to see Elon coming back onto the good side, because I think he's actually replying here to like a parody article where like they're just making fun of America's global debt and just going, they're spending it all on Bengali or something. And he replies with a very serious comment. Going, yeah.
So the Bengals were the other team that were in that were the other team in the Super Bowl. So essentially, he's like just back the losing side.
But this came out before the result, right? This is Feb 10th.
Yeah, Feb 10th. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Wow.
I get the meme now. I didn't see. This is what I didn't get the story because I didn't know who the Bengals were. I had thought they were a country. So the parody article is they America bet 30 trillion on the Bengals in the Super Bowl. I get it now. I got it linked to the Super Bowl again. Jesus.
Yeah.
And hilariously, the bet would have lost.
Exactly. Do you know what was interesting actually? And this is a strange stat that came up. The team that lost the coin toss would lose the game. The team that won would lose the game. And it's happened now 8 years in a row.
Or you win if you got Tom Brady on your team.
Well, yeah, he's retired now.
He did retire.
And also the LA Rams were always the favourite once they got to final. The Bengals were a really big outsider. So I don't think the coin toss would have made a bit of difference for those two.
Yeah, but it didn't go their way.
But do you want to move on to Canada? This is like going straight back into the dirt.
Yes. So Canada brings in emergency laws and makes any funding going towards the truckers via any form of funding, including Bitcoin, as a crime and will freeze your bank account with suspicion alone. So kind of going back to what you said, and ultimately, there's, as we know, a way around this in terms of getting your money out of the fiat system by using your own wallet and Lightning, and obviously Bitcoin being permissionless, but they will certainly try to put barriers in the way to stop you getting there, right?
Yeah, this one's a really disgusting story, right? They've literally passed emergency laws because they realized their anti-money laundering and terrorist funding laws didn't include crowdfunding sites. So it's very, I don't know whether it's coincidental or it's very purposeful, but the site that gained something about $8 million worth of money for the truckers through a GoFundMe, that all the donators and their identities got leaked. So all their information is now public. So everyone that donated to the truckers for fiat have all been exposed, and they are now getting lambasted online. They're having their bank accounts frozen, and the government have now passed a new law that says if you funded this, you are essentially funding terrorism, and we will freeze your bank accounts and close you out. And even obviously now we've invested and put it through Bitcoin, they're even looking at that, and they are looking at obviously we know what is it, it's Cointally or Tallycoin, and I think they hit a new a new record of they raised $1 million, I think, for the truckers. They're even looking at that, and they know the addresses of Tallycoin, and they're looking at the addresses of bank accounts and seeing who sent money to Tallycoin. This is what we're fighting, right? This is the fiat system fighting back.
They talk about terrorism, but there's only one set of terrorists here, and they're not the protesters or people funding the protesters. It just seems like the whole world thinks that Trudeau's wrong, and it's being said openly in the press and media at the moment, but somehow he's putting all this in place. If this was, I don't know, Libya as an example, be up in arms, wouldn't we? Be like, people are protesting against what the government are doing. How dare you be threatening them with war? Whereas because it's Canada, everyone's just going, oh, it's okay. It's okay. It's Trudeau. He's nice in front of the camera. Not that he's an absolute Nazi.
He's paid by the WF. He's worn blackface. How the fuck's this guy not cancelled?
And what was the thing which I saw? It was, I think, before he was PM. I saw a video today, which I think I shared, where he's talking to a room about how China have got it right, about communism and be able to lock down people's bank accounts. And it is extremely bad. Like, if you're Canadian, he needs to go.
Yeah. I don't know if we covered this on the podcast or whether we just chatted about it offline, but obviously Trudeau's been calling anyone that was in the protest like racists, neo-Nazis, all this stuff. And now what they've done is, if you're not breaking a law at the moment, they just create a law for it. And that's what he's done. He's literally just donating to the truckers now makes you a terrorist funder, and you can go to prison for that, have your bank accounts frozen. He's threatening the truckers with their job losses, all types of stuff. This is it. This is the fiat system folding. This is Bitcoin taking over. And this is where we need to start drawing our lines. It's not going to be pretty, this is going to be tough. I honestly do think, and I tweet this out today, where I do think Canada and Australia are being used as Western examples of the Great Reset, and they're trying to introduce China-like regulation and control over their citizens, and they're seeing how it goes. They're testing out what resistance comes, how you overthrow that, and continue iterating on it, literally A/B testing, like I would with a product. They're testing it on two kind of nationalities that are a little bit out of the way with Canada and Australia. No one really gives a shit about them, but they're big enough to be good tests. And then once they figure out what the best way of controlling those nations are, Europe and America are next. And I think freezing the bank accounts and that type of stuff, it's just nice and standard. It's nice and easy. It's scary.
Get the wording, this emergency wording to make it legal to then freeze somebody's bank account. That's just a template for the other countries to then just pick up on, and that worked for them. Brilliant, thank you. Copy paste. We'll use it if and when.
I think it's just getting worse and worse. Like the police don't want to touch them. The tow trucks don't want to touch them. No one wants to go near the protests because they know that it's completely out of line. So I don't know. Trudeau keeps on trying to, call it. He keeps on trying to ramp it up, but no one seems to be responding in his country to him. Like this is a vote of no confidence from what I can see. But it's obviously hard to work out what's going on when you're at the other side of the world. And what you've just said about a template for rolling out things across the world, it's so out there that I couldn't even deny, but it could be, because it's absolutely insane this is happening at a time when, okay, we've had COVID, it's not been the nicest thing, but then forcing injections on someone who sits within a truck for 12 hours on their own, on something which doesn't stop the spread. It doesn't stop you spreading it. All it does is it makes the reaction to COVID slightly less. So there's no other positives. So why would you force someone to take a vaccine? It is their choice. And like I said, for someone who is solitary, they don't work in an office, why would you make it so?
Yeah. It's just that point then, just to go back to it, on that point, up until now, I don't think I've really questioned you on this point, because up until now, you've gone potentially all the COVID and lockdown stuff has been largely incompetence, not a conspiracy, as in leading towards a Great Reset. At this point, when you're seeing all this stuff, do you still think countries like Canada are just being incompetent? Or do you think there is an underlying conspiracy that leads that they are doing something with an ulterior motive?
For Canada, yes. Whether it's the whole world, I'm not sure.
Okay, so you're not quite there.
Yeah, like Canada, he wants to turn into a communist state. It's plain to see. That's what he wants. He wants total power like China.
Do you think he's just acting alone? He's just doing it himself? Trudeau's just a power-hungry weirdo. He went from this 25-year-old libertarian, nice guy, and now
What do you mean? He was his father's son. His father was exactly the same.
Yeah, well,
and he's former prime minister.
Which father are we talking about here? We're talking about the guy from Cuba.
Well, you can have the one. You can talk about the cook, or you can talk about the real father.
Yeah, but the thing is that he was like New Politics, right? But he's all over the WF website.
He's just a pretty face. He's never been about. The New Politics have been very totalitarian from him. Like there's been no difference. It's no, well, let's be nice. It's like, I'm going to pretend to be nice, and when you're not looking, I'm going to stab you.
So do you think it's a coincidence then that he's jumped on this, and it's just, this is totally unrelated? It's not, it isn't coordinated. He's just seen its opportunity and he's jumping on it. Not that other people are going, we'll jump on this later. We're seeing how he goes. Because Australia are doing the same thing, right?
I don't know what's going on in Australia at the moment.
They're locking everyone down and and the same in Israel. It's weird. And France, I think, are doing the same thing. So there seem to be like 5 or 6 countries around the world that are of notable size. They're all doing the same thing. Whereas others are just opening up completely. Others are doing something in the middle. There's no consistency now.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm trying not to pay attention to it, to be perfectly honest, at the moment. For Canada, yeah, I think he is. I just think it's very hard to work out what on earth's going on at the moment.
All right.
Like, people don't go into politics because they want to make the world better. They want to go into politics for power, or money. And, he's getting power there. He's trying to get total power.
Yeah, it's
total power of a nothing country, though. That's what I don't get.
Yeah, but still, it's Canada. It's probably top 10 economy in the world.
Yeah.
So it's not a nothing country. It's still, that is the highlight of his life, is like, I'm the dictator of Canada.
Yeah. Well, I tweeted out today, just going, watch out. They're literally trialing things in Canada right now. They've put out this really popular leader that was voted in with a huge majority.
He's never been popular.
No, he was when he first got out.
What's his voting? Because I know for the last one, he didn't win with a popular vote. He just won because Canada's so split up on its politics. He won with 30%.
Well, that was his COVID one that he did, but the one before that, he was popular. He's very recently been re-elected because he did the whole like vaccine mandate thing, and obviously they own the media. But there's a great quote from it's Klaus Schwab, the chairman of the WF, saying that they're very proud that they have got some of their protégés from the WF and propagated them into global politics. And one such protégé is Mr. Trudeau.
Oh,
he came from.
But can you really claim that when his cook dad was Prime Minister of
That's his official dad, yeah.
But, and his actual real dad was the dictator of Cuba.
Yeah. Well, that's what makes it perfect, right?
Yeah, but so I'm like, the whole thing about the WEF got him there.
Oh no, as in not the WEF got him there, as in he was obviously on this is the thing, right? So a lot of people are on the conveyor belt into power. So what the WF do is they round them up on the conveyor belt, convert them and go, you need to do this, this, and this, and you'll get that, that, and that. And then eventually some of them get into power. And that's what they say. They influence a lot of young politicians. And then when they get into power, and Trudeau has been one of their, and the New Zealand Prime Minister as well, the woman who looks like a freaking raptor from Jurassic Park. It's her and Trudeau are their two like shining lights that they got early, converted, threw them out there, and then they've just towed the line. And and they've listened to every single thing the WF has said, and they're super proud of it. That's like one of their USPs of the WF, is that we've infiltrated young politics. And you go, okay, you're admitting it. You've literally admitted that you've converted young politics into this bullshit. But
I'm just having a look on Wikipedia about Justin Trudeau and click through to his dad, Pierre. Looks nothing like him. It's not even a meme anymore. Like, it's horrendous.
If you click on the Cuban dictator, he looks exactly like Trudeau, like exactly. His missus, or like Trudeau's dad, went to Cuba for a holiday or something and stayed there for like 3 months, and then she comes back 9 months later and Trudeau's born. I'm not being funny. Do a DNA test, mate. It ain't yours. We need to get him on Jeremy Kyle. It ain't your baby, son.
Bring Jeremy Kyle back ASAP.
Uncancel Jeremy Kyle just to get Trudeau on there and go, he ain't your daddy.
Just to think, right? Jeremy Kyle, I believe, got cancelled in a world before the world was fully woke.
What are you saying? Like, imagine him now? It'd be impossible.
Yeah, it'd be impossible. Yeah, you look back at some of those episodes, and people would just think, like, what faraway land was this? What creatures were these?
Yeah. Anyway, .10%.
Right.
On to your story.
Sorry, I was too busy looking at pictures of Fidel Castro going,
I know you were. I can see you like getting a little bit horny over there. So can Bitcoin be sustainable according to some LinkedIn article that you've referenced in here?
It was so on the top right, when you get the top articles, which I like to read occasionally, it came up as one of the articles, so I thought it's quite interesting because it's, right up there. I think it's can crypto become sustainable? And I kind of thought, this is one of the top articles. It's what people are using as their kind of Facebook at the moment. much to my disgust, and the fact that, you know, this stuff's bubbling up and they're reading it. So I kind of thought it was a good one to raise as part of the group, because all this FUD which we had about boiling the oceans is actually, well, actually it can become based upon renewable energy, and quite a lot of it is already. So I thought it's one of those ones, like a good piece of news mixed in all the shit which we've been talking about. Good for Bitcoin, and everyone seems to have stopped going on about it. But I suppose it's because the price has come down and everyone's going, oh, Bitcoin's dead again. So that's probably half it. And so when it comes back up, hopefully we'll have things like this where people are going, oh, but it boils the oceans. Actually, it doesn't, because Neil Smith, or whatever his name is, wrote an article about it being sustainable.
Yeah.
It clearly won't, obviously. I think you're right in the fact that it is a good article. It does reference some good stuff. But yeah, no one's going to remember it when. I think people still think Bitcoin boils the oceans. The only reason that they don't at the moment is because it's not on all-time high. But it is a good referenced article. I like it. We all need to do more of it. I think, especially on LinkedIn, we should all be liking and sharing articles like this. Fair play to the guy for writing it. But yeah, like I experienced at the beginning of the pod, people still think Bitcoin bad, and it's going to take a long time to change that.
Yeah. It'll get a like and a share from me.
And seriously, we should all write articles, right? Like seriously, and even if you're just linking this guy's article, just do it. And yeah, it helps. It helps just defud the FUD, which is Bitcoin's FUD, like boiling the oceans. Like, we all know it's fucking not. It's such nonsense. But if you ask the average like libertarian, like purple-haired moron, they would say it does. And you're like, you know what? Bitcoin was literally built for you guys. Like, you're trying to bring down the government, bring down the elite. Bitcoin is built for you. Stop fighting against it. Buy some Bitcoin and be free. Don't fight against it.
But they don't want you to be free.
Talking about purple-haired pricks with their pronouns in their bios, we should go on to FUD of the week, which is this Nathan absolute tosser I found today. And his tweet was, this is your reminder that 10% of Bitcoin owners have 99% of the Bitcoins. They need new crypto buyers to be able to sell their holdings without tanking the market. All these crypto ads are them trying to offload their position in the Ponzi scheme. And unsurprisingly, Nathan has his pronouns listed in his bio.
Apparently he's a father. It's not
and
yours,
a dancer.
Nathan. It's not yours, Nathan. It's Chad. Chad, she went to stay with Chad for 3 months and then came back after. It's Chad's.
He also likes sea bikes. Like, dude.
Oh dear.
Gosh, this guy, Nathan.
So
just dunk on him. Because why is it always that like this guy, by the way, like, fair play for the tweet, because he's had 134,000 likes. That's a lot on Twitter, like a lot.
195
now.
Yeah, 195,000 likes.
I wonder if that's paid for.
The thing is that once it gets that big, like, it's just, that goes fucking viral, man. Like, that's a lot of people liking that shit. And it's weird. Number one, why does it go viral? That obviously means that there's a lot of Bitcoin haters out there, because he's specifically going after Bitcoin. And number two, why have they always got their pronouns listed? It's so weird.
Well, funny enough, if you look through, he's got like a couple hundred likes, so he has, you know, some following. But anything which hits certain amounts has got Bitcoin in it. So there's one about where is it? Husband jailed, wife freed, and alleged laundering of 3.6 billion in hacked Bitcoin funds. And that's about Heather, who we spoke about last week.
I think people just like, because it's seen as, oh, everybody else has liked it, I should like it. even though they might not agree with it.
I think it's this move towards socialism or communism where everyone wants an equal share. And it's just like, well, there's a reason why 10% of Bitcoin owners have 99% of the Bitcoins. And it's because they got in early. They didn't gamble. They did their research and they put their money in there. They could have put it into the S&P. They could have put it into Dogecoin, but no, they put it into Bitcoin whilst you were buying your Starbucks latte with soy milk.
Yeah. Whilst your wife's boyfriend just fucking up the house.
And she scraped some of that and put it in her vag to get herself pregnant with your son.
You like Trobolone, you fucking bitch.
Oh dear.
What are you doing in my swimming pool of Red Bull?
But if we look at, say cash and wealth, so I looked at, well, what's the 1% of the US own? So the 1% of the US earn 32% of the wealth. So it's probably, when you look at the actual statistics, it's going to be relatively similar in cash. But the opportunity with Bitcoin is it's static. You're not creating this fake money to pump into the richer. You're actually going earn the money, and it will move across from generations to generations. And it's just like, if he wants to stay soy and recycle everything in his little backpack, then let him. Well, apparently I'm right wing for calling someone soy, so yeah, I must apologise. I'm not apologising, Nathan. Go and fuck off. But I doubt you're listening to this, especially this long into the pod.
It's not even right anyway. Like 10% of Bitcoin owners have 99% of the Bitcoins. It's not even right. What he's missing there is like the exchanges own loads of Bitcoin. He's including that. It's just it's so wrong. It's not even worth going into. And he basically, weirdly, he's crying about the fact that the Super Bowl was so full of ads. So he's literally claiming that for 13 years we've sat here on our Bitcoin gains and gone, this is the year we're going to spend tens of millions on Super Bowl ads. When the idiots buy our Bitcoin, we're just going to dump it all. And this is the exit of the Ponzi. Like, Nathan, what are you talking about, dickhead? Like, the price will go up after the Super Bowl because more people are going to buy, and then the people that already have bought are going to keep holding because they have sound money. That is not how a Ponzi works, mate. It's so sad. Like, I'm so glad you have your pronouns listed so no one is offended and calls you a little bitch, but you are a little bitch. You're not a he or him. You're a little bitch. So let's just go on with our day, and I'm closing his page.
Definitely. Let's not ever bring him up again.
Do you want to go on to your Mark Cuban story?
Yeah, so super simple. Following from the ads on the Super Bowl, Mark Cuban was listed as having 80% of all of his investments outside of the Shark Tank, the UK equivalent to Dragon's Den, in cryptocurrency. So, so Mark Cuban is a pretty big advocate, not only for Bitcoin, but also for shitcoins that are out there, having talked about having Aave and I think he accepts Doge as well in the Mavericks Stadium, so you can buy stuff in there with your shitcoin if you really want to. And so I thought, for somebody that was anti-Bitcoin, along with being anti-gold, I must say as well, he's changed his stance and his position on where he stands.
At this point, Mark Cuban is like a total fucking clown. Because like I said to you before, like we even click record.
Yeah.
I've been listening to Mark Cuban, and I respected him as well. I follow the Dragon's Den guys, the Shark Tank guys. That they've nearly all made it through totally legitimate means, and they are very sound business people. And so I listened to them. So I was following Mark Cuban for years, and then obviously I became a Bitcoiner, And then I saw Mark Cuban come out and do a video that he would rather have bananas than Bitcoin, because at least you can eat a banana. You can't even eat a Bitcoin. And he now denies all knowledge of that video. He pretends it doesn't exist. Every tweet he does, I call him Banana Man, and I have a little picture of him as Banana Man, and I tweet it to him. And I'm waiting to be blocked. The day I get blocked, I'll be very happy. I don't have to listen to his nonsense anymore. But yeah, now he's into crypto. Congratulations. But he when he was tweeting about Bitcoin being worth less than bananas, that was like below $1,000 of Bitcoin. So he could have got in then big. And now he would be on the podcast route with a Saylor, a Pompilano, all the kind of big like podcasters. He would be one of them. But because he missed it and he didn't get in and didn't really get in crypto until about 50,000 or something, he just always got his shit coins. So he pretends NFTs are good, shit coins are good. He's got wrecked already. He invested in Titan. I think he put 8 million in Titan. He got rug pulled and lost all of it. Then he started crying that regulators need to get involved. It's like, Mark, if you're going to invest in decentralized shit, you can't cry if regulators can't save you from losing 8 million. So it's very weird that I had such a high level of respect for people like Mark Cuban, but the last 5 years, I lost all respect. Then he came into the space and I was lost even more. I'm like, just shut up, mate.
Yeah. He will not be featuring back on the 4Bs ever again. Blocked, denied.
Yeah. Maybe one day he finally stopped shitcoining, because that was our kind of like our weird like interlude into shitcoin corner, wasn't it? Because I honestly do think that he would be a Bitcoiner, but his ego is too big to admit that Bitcoin is the answer, because it means that he just missed it 8 years before he did. So he has to go, shitcoin's the answer. And at some point in the future, Mark will come around and go, Bitcoin's the answer. But it's not yet, so fuck that guy.
I wonder if he's ever heard of Dink Doink.
It might be on his radar if he's ever listened to this podcast.
What's the other one? Stick dicks or the photoshopped animals.
Yeah.
Needs some of those in his life.
Yeah. Mark, if you're listening, you're a cunt.
Bye, Dink Donk.
And yeah, kiss my ass. So you want to move on to our final story of the week?
Yeah, go for it.
So our final story of the week is freedom is now apparently a word mainly used by the alt-right, according to the government-funded media, which this is just obviously we started the podcast slightly on this, but it's so insane to me that now they're trying to blacklist the word freedom. So if any cause is saying we're just fighting for freedom, they try and twist it and go, you're probably racist. And one of the great lines in this is that the concept of freedom can be used to reject equality. And I guess the reason I just shoved this in is that our final story was just to go, has the media lost all credibility at this point when protesters are going, all we want is freedom, and stop just locking us in our homes and vaccinating us? When they just go, all we want is freedom, leave us alone. When they call you racist and trying to be advocates for inequality, is this the end? Is this the end of credibility for the media? Because for me, this is just peak clown world. I just can't even believe anyone is believing this bullshit at this point.
Well, that's a sign of a far right. I read that on Victory last week when we were talking about Hong Kong. It said people who refer to the clown world are typically symptoms of someone who is from the far right. Is this something which you want to tell us, Mr. Orlin?
I've already admitted I'm a racist, anti-Semitic, like whatever, like what. I've been accused of everything.
It was just a hit piece, wasn't it? This article, like, it's an absolute best description clusterfuck. So it's funny. Like, I think we've referenced to some previous pods where the kind of fashion is you disagree with someone, they're far right. They're in the far right. Previously, it was a Nazi. And then if you go back to, was it the 70s or 80s, it was you're a communist. So that's far left. So it's that kind of swing with someone who you disagree with. And it's just this official line about freedom. So is freedom what someone in the far right? So far right you typically associate with like capitalism and protecting your kind of island. So it's that is your far right. Far left is kind of like government owned freedom. So it's actually more something which belongs on the left, that kind of like saying. So it's a bit insane that they're going, you say freedom, you're a racist far right KKK member. And it's just, you know, how far the media's come in like just following this narrative about nonsense.
Yeah. And typically the media will continue to fuel this as well to ensure that you dare not speak out.
But with the trucker thing in Canada, if he uses violence on them, he's lost. How's he, if he negotiates with them and says, oh, do away with the vaccines, he's lost. And literally this is, you know, connected to one which we talked about, the frozen bank accounts earlier. He's lost. I can't see a way of it out for him unless the truckers just suddenly decide to turn around. But they're not, are they?
Doesn't seem like it, but who knows? Like if they're banning bank accounts from funding getting to them, eventually they'll starve them out. It depends. And now they've made it all illegal. They can.
But with that, he's lost. You know, I don't see a winning move for him. So what have you done to what have you done to the people who believe that they were fighting for their freedoms? I starved them.
Yeah,
I know. But the thing is, though, it's weird, right? So I literally there's I can't remember the Twitter account. I think it's called like Occupy Democrats. There's a weird tweet, and they have. Well, I'm pretty sure they've hacked the GoFundMe of the truckers, and they've basically published it. They published all the names and addresses, phone numbers of everyone that has donated to the truckers, and this tweet has gone massively viral. And the comments underneath are, yeah, these truckers are similar to the Jan 6th insurrection people. These are racists. They are anti-Semitic. They are patriotic. We need to overthrow them. It's good that the people that fund them are being exposed. We need to stop it. This is anti-democratic. And it's insane. Like there's so many people. I went into that thread and I just gave them like what I could, but I'm just one tweet.
But, you know, with that kind of thread, do you think it's just a restricted group, or do you reckon bots, or do you reckon it's people using numerous names? I think the vast majority of people are probably with the truckers.
I really hope so. I really, really hope so. Because the way that their tweet where they said they've exposed all these donators, again, like just as we had that FUD tweet with 195,000 tweets or likes, I think this tweet had like 100,000 likes. So I really hope it is bots, because if this is real people,
there's a bit of a problem. They really are sucked in, or as we refer to them, NPCs.
Yeah, they're not going to make it. But anyone else, just buy some Bitcoin, and one day when you get fucked over trying to buy a house and they tell you that your funds aren't good, you tell them to go fuck themselves. And you get another lawyer and you find one that does accept your Bitcoin. That's the future.
Yeah. But I just think it'll be washed away. Like they'll just forget it. And once they finally get it, it'll just be like, oh yeah, come on in. And you'll be going back to VIP status. and you'll be like, well, hold on, don't you remember how you made me feel and how you victimized me for my own success?
Oh yeah, it's exactly the same as what happened with the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
So everyone like was, oh, it's all fucking crazy, everyone's gonna die, and now I'm watching the same people go, oh yeah, okay, it's over, but because vaccines and masks worked, that's why we can open up. No, I remember what you said. I remember, it's like, my own brother was going to get fired from his job 3 days before he got fired. Magically, the science changed. The science did not change. What happened was the people stood up and told them, fuck you. And we're not taking your experimental fucking vaccine. And they had to recall it and go, okay, the science changed. COVID's not as bad now. It's the same as this. The science will change. They will edit history and try and be on the right side of it, no matter how many times on the wrong side of it. But just have a long memory. Remember what you did, what you said before, and keep the receipts. Don't trust, verify, and just I'm going to do with these bollocks fucking estate agents. They they treat me like shit. They're going to get treated like shit themselves. So fuck them.
Be careful though. Now sending unsolicited dick pics is a crime.
I'm paying them, and I pay them in like page 4 of the PDF. Massive dick pic.
Who's you borrowing?
Technically, I paid them to view it. Technically, they solicited prostitution. I have a link to my OnlyFans in there as well. Right, boys, I think we're done.
I was going to say, it's not very good OnlyFans. There's only a picture of buttholes.
And I've got a bit of like cock and ball in there as well.
That's only a bit of an overlap.
All right. Well, are we on the verge of a mini pump? We will see. This has been pod number 43, brought to you by Dr. Evil 10%, Mr. Rawlins, Sir Neverlook, and she was here, but she's never here. Mrs. No Show. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Available on all streaming platforms. Peace out.